Welcome to the City Hall of Stockholm. First, some small rules or just general information. You can take pictures anywhere in here. There's only one room where you cannot use a flash, and I will tell you when it is, so feel free to take pictures. Otherwise, I would like to ask you to stay with the group, as this is a political building and people are working in here, so that we don't disturb them. And then there's one thing more, that's the furniture. Everything we have in here is still original, and we really would like to keep it that way. We have about 300,000 visitors every year. If everyone sits down, things fall apart quite soon, so please don't do this. How old do you think that the City Hall is? Do you have an idea?
400 years or 500 years?
The architect would have loved that answer. It is not an old building at all, actually. They started building it 100 years ago, and it was finished 1923. So it took 12 years to build this building, but the architect who wanted that it should look a bit older, he really wanted this, so he did a good job, I guess. The architect's name was Ragnar Östberg, and he was inspired by many different styles. He traveled through Europe, and you can see everywhere in the building different styles as well. This, for example, is inspired by the Italian Renaissance, but I will come back to that later. The main architectural style in this building is the National Romanticism. Well, what is typical for National Romanticism? That's that it was a reaction against industrialism. Everything in here is handicrafts. They didn't want to use industrial materials if not really necessary. Another important thing is that they wanted to use local Swedish material, so it would reflect Sweden, so it would reflect Stockholm. The marble, for example, comes from an hour south of Stockholm. The bricks are also from the Stockholm area. And if you take a look at the pillars, the columns in here, it's all granite, and it comes from the island archipelago. And the third thing typical for National Romanticism is the reflection of myths of history and of the city as such. So we have a lot of references to Stockholm's history, to the history of Sweden, but also to Stockholm as a city at the water, which is very important. So if you look in this building at small details, at chandeliers, carvings into the bricks, into the stones, you can see fishes, you can see boats, you can see anything connected to the water. So please try to notice this. This is the Blue Hall, and this hall was, as I said, inspired by the Italian Renaissance. Ragnar Östberg, he wanted to have a courtyard in here, and this here is supposed to be an Italian piazza. But we are actually standing inside and not outside, and that has a very simple reason. This here was supposed to be a banqueting hall, and you cannot really have parties and banquets in Sweden in winter, or in fall, or in spring because of the weather, so they needed a roof. Ragnar Östberg really didn't want this, so he tested how much heat the marble here could have before it would burst and break. He wanted to have heating underneath it, so it still would be warm and comfortable while dining here, even in winter. But if it's snowing, it doesn't help, it gets still wet and it's not comfortable at all. So we wanted to have a glass ceiling. We don't have that because it was not possible.